Welcome to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for joining us. Well, it has been a flurry of construction up at the University of Nevada. If you haven't been on campus in the last few years or even the last few months, you may not even recognize it. University President Mark Johnson is here with me now to talk about all of that. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Great to be with you.
Okay, so the university is growing. Well, the state of Nevada really is growing. So, you said in the State of the University address that it's the university's responsibility to educate the population. But at what point do you have to kind of curtail that growth?
We've been very fortunate that we've been growing. We were ever more attractive to really well-prepared students. So a couple of years ago, in the fall of 14 and 15, it was crazy growth. We grew by 1,000 students each of those falls, and that was really too much. So we have purposely slowed the growth with various mechanisms, and now we're growing at a moderate pace. The great part of that is that we've been able to afford to bring in new faculty. It takes a whole year to bring a faculty member on. It takes a little while to get them settled. So now we're able to match the growth of students with the growth of faculty members, and we've actually gotten halfway to our goal of hiring new faculty and halfway toward our goal of reducing the student to faculty ratio, which is very important to us. So now we've grown since fall of 2014 by more than 200 faculty, and our student to faculty ratio came down from 22 to 1 to 20 to 1, and we're halfway to our goal of 18 to 1 like other really fine universities. Now,
if you were able to maintain that 18 to 1 ratio, is there no limit to the size of the student body that you would like to see?
We don't want to be a mega university, because a university of our size, and we're approaching 22,000 total head count on the campus, a university of our size is friendly, it feels small, there's great interaction between the faculties in different colleges, great interaction between students and faculty. So it's a very friendly campus, a nice old-fashioned college experience. If we got to be a mega university like an Arizona State that has 65 or 70,000 students, you lose a lot of that closeness and the small campus feel. So we have a substantially sized university with 22,000 students, a broad array of opportunities in terms of majors, but we still have the small campus feel.
So is there a cap in your mind?
There's a target in my mind as we approach 22,000 students. I have been at several campuses that are really efficiently run at about 25,000 students. And as the size of the university goes beyond 25 toward 30, 35, it becomes a little less close and a little less manageable. So 25,000 is a very efficient size university and still keeping the small campus feel.
Okay, so we hit 25,000 students. We're thinking that's a good place to be, but you're getting an increase in applications. So naturally, it's going to be harder to get in, right?
Well, no, we have a set of admission standards. You have to have a 3.0 GPA in high school in a certain set of college-bound courses, and we have no other requirements than that. So if a student has that 3.0 GPA in high school, you can get in. We do not have a quota, so we don't have competition between students. We take all who are qualified.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, if you're trying to keep the size of the university at 25,000 students, at some point you're going to have to turn more away if more people are being attracted. So then would you raise standards?
That's a possibility, but it's so far down the line, I don't think we'll have to face that. And we don't want to get into a position of saying, are we going to take another California student because they're really well qualified and deny a Nevada student? We just don't want to be in that decision framework. We can grow beyond 25,000 students, and we have the space now to grow beyond 25,000, but I like the size of that. To do our job, and we're very lucky right now because our growth is happening at a time when we have all this industrial growth in northern Nevada. So our job is to produce the professional workforce to support these industries that are coming. So fortunately, we started growing even before these industries started coming to town. So when we see Tesla and Switch and some of these other companies coming to town, we're finding ourselves with more engineers graduated, more liberal arts and humanities graduates, more business graduates coming out just at the right time.
Yeah, now you mentioned engineering. I know this is a big one. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new buildings that people can look forward to seeing. Some have already gone up. Some are still coming down the pipeline, but engineering is one of the big ones, right?
Engineering is certainly one of the big ones. We've just finished renovating one of our historic buildings, Palmer Engineering. Completely took out all the walls, actually added space, kept the historic structure on the outside, and so completely renovated on the inside. I like to say we built a brand new building inside of an old shell. And that has given us an increment in terms of number of offices, number of labs, and much, much better quality with modern facilities. We were just granted from the state $41.5 million, which was passed through the legislature after it was proposed by the governor, and the governor signed the capital improvements bill that will give us a new engineering building, an 87,000 square foot addition to the engineering complex. So the state is putting in about half the cost of the building. The university has raised the other half, and it should be online, ready to go in the fall of 2020.
All right, so lots of construction happening. Do you have like a timeline for when we can expect the construction to wrap up?
I doubt that we will be wrapping up the construction anytime soon. So we have been building dormitories. We're working on the third dormitory since I've come here only 9.5 years ago. It's Great Basin Hall. You'll see it on Virginia Street. It'll have about 400 beds. Right next to it is going to be our new arts building, which is now under construction, and it will be finished in the summer of 2018, about the same time that the dorm opens. So then we'll go to construct the engineering building, and we've got a couple more buildings on our list coming up down the line. So we think it's best on the larger buildings to try to have a financing plan and actually complete the financing of one building before we start the next one.
Yeah, now housing is obviously very important. I know we started at the beginning of the year, and some students, their dorms weren't quite ready, so they were at the Circus downtown, right?
Okay, I really appreciate that question, because the rooms that weren't ready was a private apartment complex on the west side of Virginia Street. So that was not a university dorm, that's a regular apartment house, and it didn't quite get finished before the contract started, so that firm had to locate their students in Circus. But we actually got behind schedule on our own Great Basin Hall dormitory, so we said rather than rush it, rather than promise rooms that weren't going to become available, we originally had that slated to open in the fall of 17. It just didn't look possible, so we said, forget that. Let's just slow down the construction and open it in the fall of 2018. We do not want to get caught in the same position that our private partners have, private individuals have done.
Well, I imagine the students probably weren't too upset by it. It's kind of fun, right?
It's probably the parents that were less thinking of it being less fun.
Fair enough, definitely. Okay, so construction-wise, obviously a lot of work going on. And one of those is this Gateway District that is just south of campus right now, currently inhabited by a couple of old historic homes. And you've been working with the Historic Preservation Society to relocate these homes so that you can build there. So what's going there?
Well, what will go there, our first building will be a building for the business school, and then right after that one will be a building for the life sciences, because we're really running short, especially of laboratories for our growing biological sciences and agriculture. So that's what will go there. We've had very good discussions with the Historic Resource Commission of the city. We've had disagreements on whether or not those houses should move. I think we're coming closer together. And the challenge that they gave us to maintain some of the historic character of some of the houses just south of the campus has caused us to work really hard to find an alternative where we can move several of the houses together to keep an assemblage of these historic homes so that they can have some sense of character the way they did originally. And we're trying to find a place very, very near the campus so they won't move too far away. So rather than just demolish the houses to build a building, we are very sensitive to the interests of history in this community, and we're trying to find a compromise at the same time that we're creating the building sites necessary to expand the campus.
That's just one good example of, trying to maintain town-gown relations.
Yes.
As you expand the university overall, though, are you finding that to be a challenge? Are you kind of meeting with some concern from residents about the expansion of the university?
We get some concerns about more noise, more traffic, but the way we're going about the expansion of the campus, especially in the element of our mission of engagement with the community, I think the people are really happy that we are interacting with the community so well as we grow. A couple of examples. One example is that our medical school has a stronger relationship with Renown and the VA and the other healthcare providers in the community than we've ever had before. So we're actually partnering with Renown to create an academic health center with the hospital and the medical school. We've opened up the Innovation Center, the University of Nevada, Reno Innovation Center powered by Switch. We had a partnership with Switch, the company, and we developed the Innovation Center downtown. It's at 450 Sinclair, and we've had far more interactions with entrepreneurial groups, with companies doing trainings in that space, people coming in to learn how to make prototypes of products and things of this nature. We've interacted with the Sierra Angels, with EDON, with the Governor's Office of Economic Development there. We're interacting with startup companies there. So the way we have grown in a very explicit way of reaching into the community, not only with facilities, but with all kinds of interactions with the business community and others.
Okay, well that is a perfect opportunity for us to take a quick break. But coming up on Face the State, I will be back with President Mark Johnson to talk about new programs to help students get jobs in the new Nevada and some changes to protocols. Stay with us.